Welcome to the fish tank.
Hey everybody, Fishman here. Welcome back. This is the next day after the installation of the filter, so the silicone's had a chance to cure. Today we're going to partially fill this tank and then run the filtration system. Because it's only been one day, we shouldn't have lost too much of the biological activity in the media. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to first install these two temporary standpipes, always turning clockwise so that we don't undo anything. And I'm going to put 4 or 5 inches of water in here. And then once that's there, we're going to pull out the intake temporary standpipe and allow the water to flow through the filtration system and remove as much air as possible. And I leave the other pipe in so that the air has somewhere to go. I switched over to fast forward because it's not very exciting watching a tank fill with water. And what I'm going to do during this time is I'll wander around and check all the seams and make sure everything's holding water and doing what it's supposed to do. If this tank doesn't hold water at 4 or 5 inches, there's something seriously wrong. When I turn on the filter, it's going to kick out a bunch of, the organic matter that's been allowed to accumulate on it because it is aged media. That is actually a benefit, even though it will cloud the water. That's because over the next few days I am going to be adding the live rock and the sand and a few other things to this tank. And that'll give the chance for that bacteria that's been washed off the media to percolate through the whole tank. And that will make the whole process of getting this thing started much quicker. I just pulled up the intake pipe, and now you just saw the water level drop down because what we're doing here is filling up the filtration system, and I'm going to go around and make sure the entire canister and all the fittings and everything are holding water. And I'll turn off the water now because you don't want to put too much water to begin with. You know, there are times when things will go wrong. So I'm going to do here now is you can see a little bit of cloud coming where I took the outtake pipe off, and we're going to turn it on and we're going to spew stuff into the tank. This is 1,800 gallons of water an hour, which is a lot of flow when you only have 4 or 5 inches of water in the tank, and it's not too cloudy, which is kind of cool. And this is where it all decides to go south. As you can tell, we got a leak. That is the pump, which unfortunately I have zero control over. You just buy them and hook them up and hope for the best. And it has a leaky seal. So what I'm going to do here, which is kind of good for you guys and bad for me, is in the last video I explained how good the unions that I bought were. You're going to see why. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 2 temporary standpipes in here, and I'm going to turn on the pump to drain a good chunk of the water that's in the filtration system out. And I have to put on you can't see it at this angle unfortunately, but I'm putting on a temporary U-joint, so to speak, on the output so we don't spray water straight up. And I'm going to drain that out. And then we're going to have to take this apart and replace the pump. But fortunately, one of the things I learned a long time ago is to try and standardize everything as much as possible. So this particular pump I always have spares for, or a spare I guess I should say. And what I'm going to do after I've drained out the water here, it doesn't take that long because 1,800 gallons, it's only a very relatively small volume that's inside the filter. As soon as it starts chugging on air, I'll unplug it, and then we'll go around to the other side and disconnect the pump. Here we are. We're going to show you how easy it is to take these unions off. Well, not completely easy because you have to, It's always a good idea to have a little thing to catch water in. There shouldn't be a whole lot left in it, but there'll be a little bit. You don't want to spray water everywhere. And then once that's loose, I will undo the top one and take the pump out. Now what I'm going to do here is, because the client's buying a new pump, so this is only a temporary fix, but it will show you guys how this all works. So I'm going to click over into the fast forward here, and I am going to take the facing off this, remove the old impeller, and then I'm going to pull the impeller out of my spare pump, put it in temporarily, and that will give me, well, I just filled this thing. I want to keep it running. I don't want it to sit stagnant, so it takes me a day or two to get a new pump in. And what I'll do is I'll get the tank running, and what happens after that is I'll swap out this pump for a brand new pump when the new one comes in. And it'll be just as easy as what you see here. A lot faster than fast forward. And this is where I found that there wasn't just one thing going wrong, it was two. Though I hadn't realized it yet. You'll notice that the shaft on this impeller is also broken. Like, not one thing, it's just a pile of things. Fortunately, I'm replacing the impeller anyway, so it didn't really matter that much. So I pulled out the old, well, it's an O-ring basically, it's just a rubber seal ring. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fill that groove with silicone. And then I'll put the O-ring back in and make sure it's well coated in silicone all around. Silicone, just as in the fittings above, it's not doing anything structurally. What it's there to do is just simply keep water from leaking past whatever gap there is in this O-ring. And just about now, no, not yet, give me a few more seconds, I'll realize, I haven't noticed it yet, but I'm about to realize that, hey, this shaft is, broken. There you go. So I'm going to now get out my small toolkit here, and we're going to get a pair of needle nose pliers and pull out the broken shaft. And then I will, you can see the new one, I've already taken it out of my spare pump, and I will put that one in. You gotta make sure you get all the pieces out. So I'm going to set that aside, and then with the new one in place, well, the replacement in place, I'm going to put this all back together. Unfortunately, that took a few extra minutes because I hadn't realized that the shaft was broken, so I had gone and put the silicone on a little early, and it skins in about 5 minutes. So to make sure I got a good seal, I put a little extra on. When you're doing this, you have to make sure that you don't impede the impeller any. It won't matter so much in this case because I'm turning the pump on right away. But if you're going to seal this and then not use the pump right away, if that silicone gets a chance to cure, it may impede the impeller from turning. In this case, if there is a little bit of silicone in the way, it'll just get knocked away once you turn the pump on. The next step here after this is I'm going to spread that bead around a little bit just to make it look a little neater. And then I'm going to put the pump back on. And I hope you guys all realize how easy it is to, with these more expensive unions, which I basically just paid for itself because it's much harder with the cheaper ones to do this. And we're just going to stick this back on. If I get the camera in the right angle, there we go. I'm going to do this in regular speed. It's not that hard. Sometimes it's a little hard to get the thread started, but once you get it going, it goes on really smooth. There we go. And I'll put the other one on. I don't tighten up the first one until I have both of them in place, make sure everything's threaded right, because I don't want to cross thread anything. And then once we're all set, we're going to tighten it all down. Each one a little bit at a time until we're good. And that's it. That's how to repair a pump. I wasn't exactly planning on doing this today. But hopefully this will hold water now. It's very rare that it doesn't. So what I'm going to do now, unfortunately, with the because there's already water in the system, it's going to do a lot of burping. As you can see, the air is coming out the wrong end, but nothing I can do about it this time. And then also because the way it's filled up, you're going to end up with a lot of air around the impeller. So I'm going to have to unplug this once or twice just to purge the air. But again, it's not a big deal, which is fortunate because in a couple of days I'm going to have to do this all over again when the new pump comes in. So once we get this going, we're going to have a look, and fortunately we're all nice and tight and dry, so at least I don't have to do this again today. And now what we're going to do is put a bit more water in, and then dump some salt in the tank. The media has been acclimated to salt water, so it's a good idea to get the salt in right away. The amount of salt is really not that critical because bacteria are a lot hardier than pretty much everything else in the saltwater system, and they can stand quite a bit of variation, but pure fresh is a little excessive. So I'm going to put 2 bags in, which is enough for 100 gallons. I don't even think I'm going to get quite to halfway filling it up today, but that should be more than enough for this. The reason I only filled about halfway to start off with, it gives the tank a chance to settle into place. It won't settle that much, but it's always a good idea to let it do that when it's not under too much of a load. If you can consider 1,000 pounds not too much of a load, and then everything will be all set in a few days to add the rest of the stuff. This is the next day. You can already see that the water is a lot clearer. And so this is basically the end of this video because I want to add all the coral and do all that sort of stuff kind of in hopefully one shot. And so thank you very much for watching, and next we'll start adding living things to this tank. Thanks again. Hey everybody, thank you for watching my video. If you liked it, please slap a like below, or if you want to see more of this type of video or some of my other work, please subscribe to my channel. And I will see you there. Thank you very much for watching. Bye for now.